So I'm making a video here. I bought myself an indestructible Blackview BV9800 Pro. Gave it to my kid. She's 18 months, and like 5 minutes later she is broke it. So the screen was like grey streaks. The buttons still work, the phone still works, noises, the alarm still goes off, which is really annoying because I can't see the button on the screen to turn the stupid thing off. So, but anyway, I've been stripping it down for a little while and I figured out a few things. The back comes off pretty easy, a couple of screws, and the screws in the side, these little side rails come off and then it opens up. And then the next thing I did was, there's a wire that this one here, I just got a razor blade in underneath that, cut that thing off of there. So after I took the little screws out all around the edge, there's a whole load of them. For the battery, it came out. Well, actually, the thing I did before that, which was even more important, was this little board right here. It was stuck. It's stuck on there with double-sided tape, and you have to get it off because there is that one little screw right there that you can't get to without getting this little board off. So this was probably the hardest piece overall, because you can see that tape on there. That stuff was pretty wicked, but it's kind of gummy, so you just go real slow with it, and you can hear it peeling. It took me about like 10 minutes just to peel that one little board off of there. Just go really steady, you don't want to break it, obviously. And then this piece here comes out. There's a whole bunch of little plugs everywhere. Just take note of where they are. And this piece in particular, there's this little plug here on the side, which you have to take out afterwards. You kind of fold it over like this, and then you can pull that little plug right there. Obviously, going back together, it's going to be the reverse, so you make sure you don't miss that one. That would be a real easy plug to miss. And then yeah, then the battery comes out. Get hold of this thing, and there it is. There's lots of screws. They're all pretty individual, so it's fairly easy to keep track of. Then this little guy is also stuck on. This silver stuff here is sticky, so there was another peel, and then it kind of goes in like that at the bottom. So it pushes in and then down in. Don't forget, there is whenever you're taking this apart in the first place, there's a screw right in here inside by the charge port, and it's got an O-ring on it, a tiny little O-ring, so watch for that. But anyway, that just peels off. Now I was having a little problem with this board here, it wasn't coming out. There's two other screws, there's like one there and one there or something. I took pictures of all the screws. I've been taking pictures along the way here. I couldn't get it out, it was being a pain in the butt, and then I realized it was because the memory card tray was still in there. So now the whole thing is a lot freer. Go easy around this little plug here. Underneath this copper tape here, there's like this squishy stuff. It's like heat sink, almost like, feels like heat sink under there. And you can see I've gone and crushed it where I was prying under that plug to get it off, and that was totally unnecessary. I didn't have to do that. If I had just pulled up on that plug, it would have been fine, but I'm a brute and I was leveraging, not a lot, but enough to squish that stuff. So then the next thing is getting this little guy out. Right, so I've been fiddling around with this. It's getting looser. One thing I found out was there's a plug right underneath here, and you can't pull this board away because this is plugged in. So what I did, I got this little kit, came with the new screen that I got, so I pushed that under there as I was kind of pulling up on the board a little bit, and underneath there, you probably won't be able to see it right now, but take my word for it, yeah, the lighting is terrible, so I have to take my word for it. There's a plug under there, and I think when you put it back together you just squeeze it on and it pops back in the socket. Something else I wanted to mention was this screw here. Pretty sure it was this one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this one. Had a little sticker over it, so it's like, I think it's like a little tamper-proof sticker, you know. So of course that went in the trash. Right, so there was a little plug right here coming up from underneath, holding it, and that little ribbon that disappears from this camera goes underneath to another plug that's underneath right there. So I was able to get that tool in there and pop that little guy downwards off of there. That one could be fun putting it back in. This one right here could be fun putting it back together, but there she is. We're getting closer. Just a couple little pieces left to switch over. Cameras mainly. Cameras and the headphone port. That's about it. New case comes with a new fingerprint sensor and everything. And some wiring. There's one screw. Alright, so I've been studying this. This screw here is just like straight underneath this camera, so I figured this camera had to come out of here somehow or another. And it's just, there's like a piece of rolled up tape underneath it that's sticking it onto this little base. And there's our second little screw. How this camera was going to be fun to get back on there. I'm going to stick it to the circuit board first, and then it can reattach itself to the little mount there. So we'll see how that goes on the reassembly. This little infrared lens was just glued in. Little sticky pad on the bottom of it. Again, I was just like super careful, super slow. Peeled it out really gradually. And then the last little thing is this little, apart from the headphone socket, which I haven't figured out yet, but this is, I think, a little infrared sensor that goes in before the infrared, the other infrared thing. This is the sensor for your face, I suppose. So anyway, on to the headphone jack. So there's two little pins right here. 1, 2. This is in here, and you gotta push it up in there a little bit further to disengage those pins out of those holes, because they're kind of holding it up in there. So once you do that, you can pull up on the back end ever so slightly, just enough to get it to clear. Uh-oh, got stuck in there again. It's a tight fit, and then it just kind of pops out of there. that's the last thing. Little note about the new one. Don't forget to take that little guy out of there. It's covering up the selfie cam. And of truth is upon us. Ooh. Well, that's better than it was already. Let's see if this thing will boot. Ha 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 ha.
Task oriented. Strictly business. Oh shoot. Oh shoot.
Back in business.